Hello, everyone. Today it's a quick, all of a sudden interview. We've got, there we go, the Goliath symbol there, the logo. We've got Roger Rosmus, who is the core driver, the founder, the chief in charge of Goliath Resources. And we're doing this kind of all of a sudden because Roger, as people probably know, just finished a great raise, 27 million. It's a huge expanded program, and he's going to be up at the property here soon. So getting him when we can. We're just going to grab it. We'll make sure you get to see this as well. We'll make sure it gets out to everybody. But just kind of to give everyone a quick up to date, I would say this is one of the most, if not the most exciting stories over the last few years, certainly developing in Canada for sure, never mind in Golden Triangle. But so much is driving behind this important high-grade gold discovery at the Surebet Zone. And this is coming about from this kind of discovery and now exploded in scope with the emergence of a high-grade gold in vertical reduced intrusion-related gold dike, something that apparently the geologists said shouldn't exist, but they're proving that it does, and they have just even in the last visible sites of gold. And they've also turbocharged their 2025 drill campaign, going from a big whopping 40,000 up to 60,000 meters with 9 fully funded drill rigs, a fully funded war chest, and they were able to fund that too without any warrants. That's a big deal. This is a significant pivot, and it's a big one, and a big kudos to the team, because it's hitting all those marks that institutions want to see and that people want to see, and that's good news to if you've owned the stock already, and certainly good news to anybody who's looking for big stories that are developing in a big way. And once again, Roger, it's great to get you on here. Quite a few last few years, but certainly the last few months have just been rocking and rolling here.
The last couple of weeks, it's been a
yes.
lot going on, a lot of balls in the air.
Yeah.
And I like the point is again, the team is amazing. They're very stalwart and dedicated. And without them, I wouldn't be chatting, or you and I wouldn't be chatting right now. And they certainly make my job super easy, in relation to consistently deliver excellent results each year. And, going to the recent financing, it was the first time we ever got a bought deal from Stifel Canada. With no warrant. That was done at $3.17 a share, and part of that syndicate was the CIBC as well as the Cormark folks, which is it's a good testament to what's happening there. And then in addition, I put together like a $4 million sidecar to take care of some existing larger shareholders who demanded that they continue with their percentage of ownership. So in total, we had $27 million raised in the past bit here. And as of March 31st, we had about close to $20 million of cash and liquid securities in the treasury or on the balance sheet. So again, it's a fully funded 60,000 meters, or up to 60,000 meters. Hopefully, Mother Nature will work in our favor and allow us to work into September and possibly later on in September. But the idea is hopefully we're out of there before the end of September, and before the snow starts to fly. But it's been action packed. In addition, we went and relogged a bunch of holes. I got to put hats off to Colorado School of Mines and the team as well, with their diligent hard work in the off season, where the guys were going through 92,000 meters of pictures. And we take photos of everything, all the core boxes. And just with some of the science that we've been able to throw at this thing, we've identified other areas where we believe that there could be mineralization, gold. In particular, we did find that in this new altered, in the calc silt breccia alteration, where I think that was part of our announcement here the other day, where one of these holes, I think it was about 11 to 12 meters, had 7 instances of VG of kind of 0.5 millimeter to 0.75 of a millimeter in size, which you can see this with the naked eye. You don't need a microscope or some kind of fancy lens to be seeing this. So it's pretty exciting. So with that, the relog program was really initiated on the finding that mineralization in the dikes, and these Eocene age dikes of, like 52 million years of age. And again, the narrative in the Golden Triangle was that, these dikes were granitoids or were barren of any type of mineralization. We're actually the first group explorer to document this. So we're changing the landscape as we speak. We're the pioneers in the southern part of the Golden Triangle, finding gold mineralization in mineable widths, high grade. Here's this, GD. Yeah, we drilled this in 2022. 6.3 grams gold equivalent, 14.35 meters, and then including the 11.36 gold equivalent over almost 8 meters in the feeder dike. So this is like super compelling, as we do have a number of other holes within these dikes. We actually have 17 of these things. Of 4 we know do have mineralization. If we can scroll down there, actually there's a really good image of the dikes just to show folks what's going on here. So you can see here with the what's going on is, there's some continuity here with that, with these dikes with lots of mineralization. The previous holes we have intercepted. So that in part is very exciting for the team, because in the past years, 2021 to kind of mid 2024, we actually avoided drilling into the dikes, thinking there was dead rock, and we were just laser focused on the Surebet Zone, the Bonanza, the Golden Gate, et cetera, where we're getting high grade shear zones that are kind of sort of somewhat flat lying with lots of galena, sphalerite, purite, pyrite. So versus these dikes are a different animal, which the potential is adding quite a bit of additional tonnage to a future maiden resource. So that's one exciting thing. And then it just, the surprises keep coming again with this alteration, the calc silt, with we're seeing again in this news release. We scroll down, actually hole 280 right here. Yeah, 7 instances of VG just splattered over. It's like 11, I think almost close to 12 meters here. People want to look at hole 249, which we drilled in 2024. I mean, that ran, it was over like at 44 grams per ton gold equivalent over, I think, close to 6 meters. I think this hole looks way better than 249. So, I mean, my expectations are high. I'm not, obviously have to wait for the assay machine or the truth machine to produce what's going to come. But I do believe this one's going to be really, really nice upside surprise for the, obviously for the relog program. With that, again, we bumped it from 50 holes. And then we noticed this type of mineralization, or this type of host rock hosting, obviously BG now that we're seeing. We went up to 75 holes, and that equates to roughly 3,500 meters or 3,400 meters that we're essentially relogging and assaying that have never been assayed before. So I'm hopeful that we'll have additional upside surprises, prior to seeing any of the holes we're drilling in 2025.
So this is going to be a bit of a challenging one to and it's early stages. So because I've kind of explained to people, like we like to use imagery too of Surebet being like or Bonanza, sort of like a layer cake. Like there's all these layers coming down. Now you've got all these dikes as well. The expansion of those shear hosted zones like Bonanza, are you more excited for what is developing there, or these newly developed Ecocene age dikes? Which ones are you more excited about right now?
I'm excited about everything.
Yeah, so why not be?
There was a legend be told to be a mountain of gold, and clearly everything we're touching here, it's got gold in almost every sort of host rock that's situated within the mountain. In that news release, there is a sort of a hot gold spot where we show where all the VG that we've seen to date. Last year we drilled 92% of the holes had visible gold that can be seen with the naked eye. And why that's important is just you don't need a microscope or a hand lens. It's just sort of popping out of the core, right? And that's just what you can see. So I would expect to see something very similar this year, because we are laser focused, and we will be, drilling into the dikes, and just the way, because it is stacked, 12 layers over 1.2 kilometers. We can hit each zone as well, get additional pierce points, but then also be drilling into the dikes getting additional pierce points in them as well. So it's a nice, the topography has been, very, very beneficial for us. So, with that, it does remain open at depth and laterally. And so we'll continue to drill east and west and north and below the system here. So one of the interesting things the Colorado School of Mines have also done is they've put an age on the dikes and the various shear zones, and they all kind of around plus or minus 1 million years old, which in geological terms means it basically happened over the weekend. So, which suggests that they were in place around the same time. One step further, the gold that we're seeing in the dikes and the granitoids are actually come from a hotter magma gold, and the shear zones are cooler magma gold. And then that hole 260 we drilled, the best hole to date, the 1 ounce over 39 meters, that has the hot and gold, and we call that the Goldilocks zone. Just hot, not cold enough. It's just so clearly that's an area of focus for us where we are seeing Surebet coming down and Bonanza and these dikes. So there might be a big pocket there. Hopefully cuts right through the mountain. So we'll determine that this year. And then in addition, because of the dating we've done, the Pluton, the hydropluton, essentially just to the west of Surebet, all the same age as well. We feel that the causative intrusive, this magma body somewhere, may have high-grade mineralization as well. So that's certainly what all the indicators are suggesting. But obviously, if we drill into it and assay it, that's as far as I can comment on.
I think you guys are calling it a mother lode causative intrusive source. That's that mother lode system that you guys are looking for, the heart of the system.
Well, basically the heat engine that created mineralization that brought it to surface. But at the end of the day, you've got all these other guys chasing around, even Pogo. I mean, they've never found the mother lode. That thing's produced over 10 million ounces.
Yes.
And just with what we have found to date, it'd be a nice, super big, nice bonus for the shareholders. Hopefully we do drill into it. If not, it's not a game changer by any means. Certainly the dikes are a game changer for us as this other type of mineralization we're seeing in the alteration in the sets. So super excited, and we're looking forward to continue to deliver really good results for the shareholders in 2025. And again, we've kicked off the program. We've got will be a total of 9 rigs right now. There's 5 turning, and another 4 will be on site very shortly, turning as well. Again, we got to go 60,000 meters here, so it's like pedal to the metal. Yeah. And we've got a short season, but we feel pretty confident, the team as well, that we'll be able to pull this off this year. So,
and I did a little digging here, and this isn't 100%, but from just the quick amount that I was able to put together this morning here, it looks like the only one close to you right now is Agnico Eagle, their Odyssey, their Canadian Malarctic one, where they have 53,376 meters planned, 27 rigs, 13 underground, 14 on surface. Yep. And they're an operator. They're producing. So you're in good standing.
Yeah, well, and also think they can actually drive to their site. We're actually airlifting all this with choppers and so on and so forth.
Yes.
It might be 100 to 200 meters. I'm not exactly 100% familiar with the project there, but on average, our holes are going to be, call it 500 meters thereabouts, plus or minus. With that, we do have actually some deep holes planned, 1,400 meters, going down again to try and test for this magmatic causative intrusive body that possibly could be there at below, or maybe it's at lateral. Here's that the hot or the heat image.
Oh yeah.
Of the VG that we've seen to date, and bottom line is it's an amazing project. It's just full of surprises, and we're super excited to again get as much meters into the ground this year, and again hopefully have a as successful or even better year than 2024.
And just for people, to look back, the last interview we did where we had Roger on as well, we had on your student who's doing their PhD on this system, the Colorado School of Mines, and we really kind of dug into a lot of the geo about what they're finding, and that kind of the thesis developing, and from an academic model as to why it's so exciting for them as well, because everyone can now look at this region of the Golden Triangle slightly different, which is very exciting. But it's playing out real time, not only for that student who's basically his PhD on your project, but it's pretty wild to see all of these things come together. And that kind of ties into the fact that you've got this young team who's had a great success running around on all sorts of properties, never mind here with the Goliath properties. And it's wild to see so much come together. And really, at the end of the day, because you have to take winters off for the most part, very, very short period of time, like extremely short period of time of on-ground working.
Yeah, definitely. And, to that point, I mean, some of these geos, there's some older ones as well, but I don't think they've seen this much visible gold in their entire career.
Yeah.
Prospecting or whatever, drilling, and you might be lucky to see one little fleck. I guess our guys are a little spoiled here. Maybe the shareholders are a little spoiled here, but it's a good thing. We like to spoil the shareholders, and obviously like to keep the team super motivated. So every time we see new VG out of the core, it's just like, all right, let's get her going, let's keep her going, kind of deal. So yeah, it's obviously it's a great thing to have, and we're very fortunate to have discovered such a high-grade gold system that had never been drilled before. It's grassroots.
That's what's so wild too, is that I would always hear like there's no you're not going to find a green project, basically a greenfield project. They've all been dug up. Everything's too hard to find, blah, blah, blah. But once again, this is the story of glacial recession. And this is, so it's wild that you have a project that no one else would have. I mean, very few people in the world didn't even walk around on top of the ground there. So it is that new and to have this type of success.
Yeah. Again, it's been picked over pretty good, up until recent times. Most of it was covered under glacier, permanent snowpack. And, I'll touch on a few points there too. I mean, we've got infrastructure close by, it does sit on tidewaters. You get barge access to Kitsault or down to Prince Rupert. We occupy the town of Kitsault, which housed up to 1,000 people when it was in production with the Molly mine. And heck, the old Molly mine is still there. It sits on private property, it's permitted. So you get a brownfield site there. You got high tension power, going to just kind of stepping back here, segue here on the reduced intrusive stuff of the granitoids. We on October the 10th, we increased our property by 28%.
Oh, that's right.
All the granitoids were wide open to the south, just because they were marked as granitoid, whatever, barren, don't come here type of thing. So again, we're trailblazing, we're pioneers. We grabbed as much open property as possible. Now we're sitting with over 91,000 hectares, which is pretty exciting, big land package, certainly district scale for additional exploration and discoveries.
I think given all metrics, you're definitely positioned as the top 1 or 2% exploration projects that are happening out there anywhere that I can see, because you're hitting all of these indicators. Never mind the fact that if someone isn't as interested, we're going to post a ton in our Substack of the stuff in the past over the years where you've had lots of great assays. There's been hit after hit. You've got 50% of the metallurgy, 50% is free gold. I mean, there's so many positive indicators with this that have been hitting on nonstop. There's not a lot out there that deserves the amount of attention and that people should be paying a lot of attention to. And that's why I think you're able to raise the amount that you just did without a warrant. The reason why you've got a lot of the partners that you've accumulated over the years that have who've definitely been bought into the story, love the story, and are now working with you. And without like Crest Cat, which we've of course have had Dr. Quinton Henning on quite a few times as well to talk about the project. This is shaping up to being in my kind of world is I was lucky when I first started to be involved with Great Bear a little. And once again, there's lots of differences, but there's also a lot of similarities to some degree as to what's coming about. And I'm not asking for a comment from you in regards to that, but just certainly the size and scope, the targets, the continuity of gold, the assays you're finding. There is a lot that one could kind of legitimately compare, and that's what's really keeping me very excited as well.
Yeah, no, good point. I mean, to me, I kind of see it as a simple way to explain is we kind of have a hybrid, kind of have like a snowline gold with our reduced intrusive. Mind you, the grades we're seeing are double digit,
Yeah.
and as well as like a pogo, kind of a hybrid. Let's call it a snow line on top of a pogo type of thing. So between those two, I think they're call it 17 million ounces. Right? Am I saying we've got 17? Until we have a maiden resource, I can't really comment on that. But just from an analogy of the potential, let's call it. Yeah, and to your point on the shareholders, Crescat Capital have been involved since December of 2020. Then Eric Sprott came in before we drilled in 2021, and then since then, we've attracted Rob McEwen personally. McEwen Mining has taken a stake. I've got a group out of Singapore, Global Commodity Group. And then more recently, a very large fund out of Toronto. I think like 4 billion under management, and they're sticky money. So all the new people that came in recently on this last financing are very there for the long haul for us, which is fantastic.
And it looks like we're getting lots of good indicators as well. Like I know, just to tie this into some recent news, like our Prime Minister Carney came out today saying that part of what's going to help to pay for their kind of developments in defense would be mining. So I thought, oh, that's interesting that he's now kind of promoting the fact that Canada is a resource, and he's putting gold as part of the critical metals. He included that. He said gold is part of it. So any infrastructure and mining that they're planning on doing, he's looking at that as being a driver. And to me, that's like, wow, that's excellent news. I'd like to hear that.
Yeah. Well, in addition, like dovetailing I think even the BC government, I think they've listed 6 projects they want to fast track in the next 22 months.
Yeah.
And hopefully, Goliath will get on that list at some particular juncture here. But, it seems like the stars are aligning. Gold seems to be ripping here, and, possibly going higher. But ultimately, with a recovery that we're getting from the metallurgy is like a 92.2% recovery of the gold at a 327 micron crush. So what does that mean? That means you don't need a lot of power to crush this stuff. You don't have to crush it like to a 70 kind of thing where one of the bigger line items in any operation is power. So, I think it was Quentin that mentioned that in his mind, that would be a kind of a low cost facility, certainly with the type of metallurgy that we're getting. Again, no deleterious material, no cyanide required, some of this leaching business. So, and again, we've got the old mine site right there, the barge, power, the town. So a lot of very favorable characteristics in relation to this discovery.
Yeah, there is legitimately tons of check marks, and that's what everyone wants to see, because sometimes just one check mark can make things, a big issue. And like you were saying before, you don't need to find this mother lode to win. I mean, not even at all. If you can just prove out more of the same of what you're finding, it's a more significant win. And I know people will say, well, we need to come out with 43-101. And my argument would be like, why? Like, what's the hurry? Keep expanding this thing.
Andrew, we still don't know how big it is. I mean, every year we drill, the bigger it gets.
Yes.
So why the heck would we, shoot ourselves in the foot?
Yes.
By kind of putting a parameter saying, okay, it's this large, and then people get bored. Okay, yeah, going to PA, PFS. No, we're going to keep on drilling until we, kind of push the outer limits. And again, but every year we're finding something new about this system. And think about this: we only have one hole really below the valley floor, about 480 meters last year. We hit 4 brand new lenses. The results, there was, lots of sulfides and so on and so forth, but ultimately there's still things happening below the valley floor. And hopefully this year, again, with, some of our deep holes planned, that we do test, we got a number of theories. And so we have a whole plan to, deep hole plan to test each one of those theories. So hopefully it'll uncover some additional piece of the puzzle for us. And then, maybe in 2026, go and tackle that with all that data.
So with this plan moving forward as well, because I remember too, it was the last one we were chatting was that adit. So is this part of the plan? Is this adit being kind of drilled? Is that moving forward here in the summer, or what's the plan on that?
Good question. It's super early days.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, the guys, we've just engaged them to look at the possibility of doing. Again, we're not mine builders at this particular juncture, but mind you, I could put a team together to go build a mine if we have to. They're going to be on site, I think, in the next couple of weeks here. They're going to go assess things. They're going to go assess, where a potential road might be able to go, and then, hey, where could a possible adit go? Give us some kind of a cost. So really, it's going to be the best value for our dollar as to, is it going to be a year for a permit, 2 years, 3 years? Well, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I do know for a fact that we have drill permits up until 2029 for 199 pads throughout the entire property. So,
nice.
We're waiting around for, some kind of a permit to go and build and so on and so forth. The cost differential might be saying, hey, listen, we can just go drill this stuff out for, a fraction or a percentage to go and build this adit or a road or what have you that might come back. So, I just caution it's early days. And, we're going into a territory where there's a lot of unknowns, and, we'll make a decision once we have the data from JDS Mining later this year.
Excellent. And this is going to be such a great summer with so much going on, so much news. This drill program alone, it's enormous, and it's great to see that too. And, like you said, it's early days still. If you're just new to this story, and I think the stock's sitting around $2 right now, this is early still. Now, we've been talking since, I think it was 20 cents or so. So, we've had a great run already, but this is just getting started. And that's what makes this also so much fun, is that this isn't the tail end of the discussion. Like, where's this going to end up? It's like, no, you're just building this thing out, and it's growing at a really good clip.
Exactly. And hence, increasing the program this year by 50%. With limited window to drill. We've got 92,000 meters. Now we're going to try and get 60,000. So that's almost like 56% or whatever the number is. But, I look at the value creation at, Great Bear. I think 1 year they drilled, I think it was like just over or close to 100,000 meters.
Yeah.
In the 1 year again, but they can drill 10 months of the year at that, or at least 9 or 10 months of the year anyways, and it's easy drilling. You can drive or they were able to drive to site. But if we are able to pull this feed off, I'm sure we're hoping the footprint will expand substantially laterally as well as at depth. So, people just need to stay tuned, watch for the news. And first and foremost, we've got another 73 holes to come on the relogging.
Yep.
100 meters. So, expect that to be coming at some point here, possibly, most likely before we see any 2025 hole assay results.
Perfect. Well, that's great, because it keeps everyone engaged on kind of whatever they hear coming up from the camp. Because people like to say, like, we saw this, we thought we pulled this out of the ground, whatnot. We're going to be paying obviously very, very close attention to it as well. Check out the Substack. I'm going to do a lot of meandering as to my personal thoughts as what I saw like at Great Bear, do some comparisons, where it's similar, whatnot. So make sure you check there as well. They'll have the cautionary. These are just my thoughts and ideas. It's not anything else more than that. And I don't want to put Roger on the spots with some of my whimsical thoughts as to what's developing. But it is very, very exciting, and it has more on that checkoff indication list than anything else. And that's really exciting to see in the mining space. And with gold doing what it's doing, and I don't see too many people thinking that gold's not going to be doing very well as the world progresses through a lot of uncertainty. So things are looking very, very good. And it's been a lot of hard work, but a great full team, and always great to be chatting with you, Roger. So hopefully whenever you hear anything, you'll give us 10, 15 minutes again. This was half an hour, unfortunately a bit longer than we wanted, but it's still, we wanted to get whatever we could from you.
Yeah, no, again, if you're looking to get a exposure to gold, I think Goliath is something you maybe want to consider, do your due diligence. Obviously I'm biased, so I can't,
yeah.
I'll keep it at that, and look forward to chatting with you, and hopefully we'll get some positive news here in the coming weeks here and months to keep people continue to be interested in our project as it unfolds.
Excellent. Well, once again, Roger Rosmus, founder and CEO of Goliath. everyone, go take a peek and go check the Substack. We're going to be working it on all weekend and adding stuff as we go along. And love to hear some of your feedback, pros, cons, why you like it, why you're, oh no, I'm upset, whatever it is, send it to me and we're happy to go through it and chat about it. But once again, Roger, thanks so much. We'll let you get at it, and we'll let you have a few days of celebrating such a great $27 million raise. That's amazing. It's awesome.
All right. Thanks again.
Take care, Roger. Bye-bye.